Well, it is a feeling the Bronco Nation has had to deal with a little too often this season. Welcome on into Sunday Sports Extra. Jay Tuss alongside Will Hall. The Boise State football team back on the blue and struggling on a place they used to be nearly unbeatable.
Before we get to it, the sun did rise today in Boise. I'm trying to bring some positivity here. And you're saying, heck no.
Get out of here.
All right, let's get to the highlights. Boise State hosting 5-1 Air Force last night. That squad off to their best start since they began the 2002 season, 6-1.
Meanwhile, the Broncos looking to avoid their first three-game losing streak on the blue. Since 1996, Hank Bachmeier and Steph Cobbs get to work right away on the opening drive of the game. That duo hooks up for a 39-yard gain right down the left sideline.
I was worried there. I thought I was going to get taken out. Luckily, thank you, Steph, for not taking me out. Air Force answers right back after this play here. It's that duo again, connecting with a touchdown right over the middle. Boise State jumping out in front first, 7-0.
Steph, by the way, had a team high 6 catches for 83 yards and that score. Air Force would answer back and then some on the ensuing possession. They go 75 yards on 14 plays. That's Brad Roberts that ties the game on a 4-yard rushing TD. Following a 3-and-out by the BSU offense, the Falcons get back on the attack.
This is quarterback Kazik Daniels taking it in from 25 yards out on the QB keeper. Air Force goes back in front, 14-7.
On to the second quarter we go. Taquan Tyler with his first carry since the fourth quarter of the UTEP game rips off a 14-yard gain down into the red zone.
His backfield buddy, Andrew Van Buren, would finish it off from there. He takes it across the goal line from 11 yards out. His team leading 6th touchdown of the season ties the game at 14 apiece.
Later in the second, the Falcons continue to move the chains. Boise State had a chance to get off the field here on 3rd and 5, but Daniels this time goes to the air. Brandon Lewis hauls this thing in and goes 59 yards before he finally gets pushed out of bounds. This was Air Force's lone completion of the game, but it was a big one.
A few plays later, they would take a 21-14 lead here on Roberts' second rushing score of the night.
On to the second half we go now. Not much scoring in all honesty. This was kind of near the end of the game. Joe Nadalmas connects on the field goal. That made it a 7-point contest with just 49 seconds to go. The Broncos would need a miracle.
And they would get a miracle. Beautiful onside kick from Joel Velasquez, Riley Smith on the recovery. So you're saying there's a chance, Bronco Nation. Well, the very next play after the recovery, Hank going to the air, but he's picked off. Broncos fall to 3-4, suffer their 3rd straight loss on the blue for the first time since 1996.
I want for our players more than anything to be able to learn how to commit and be consistent with their preparation. And that starts with us and teaching them and making sure that we are our best. If we are and we handle things properly, we're not late to meetings and stuff during the week, then maybe we have better consistency throughout the course of the week. And for us, more than anything, those are the things that you learn when you come to Boise State. Those are the things that we're working to reestablish here, that all those little things become big things. And for me, more than anything, I know in due time, we reestablish this foundation and we get back to doing things more consistently, then, the outcomes that we want will come.
Interesting right there. Players late to meetings, little things become big things, and the result of that, well, the number in the loss column is greater than the number in the win column for the first time in a long time this late in the season for Boise State.
October 17th, and Boise State is 3-4. It's been a while.
Yeah,
since
it has.
Someone could say that.
I'm not gonna lie. Long before we started covering this team, long before we were even in high school, Tom. Strange feelings, I guess, here in Bronco country.
Well, I remember how 1996 and 97 felt. It's like yesterday to me, and those were tough times, and there are tough times right now for Boise State, and Well, the running game has been a part of it. We've talked about that ad nauseum this season. That was the key going in last night, and that's the key coming out. Air Force pounded away with 3 long touchdown drives in the first half, piling up 175 yards and 5.1 yards per carry. While Boise State was okay by its standards this year, 54 yards and 4.2 yards per tote. The Broncos defense got a slightly better handle on things in the second half when the Falcons had 132 yards. Broncos held them to 34 yards below their season average, but on offense, 24 yards and 2 yards per carry. To be fair, that strip sack fumble counts in those numbers, but it did happen, right? So timeout for something positive. Khalil Shakir, he had 4 catches for 75 yards last night, and for his career, 171 receptions now, moving him up to 7th on Boise State's career list. He's entered the top 10 in receiving yards now at 2,420. What if he had a full season last year? Shakir's averaged over 14 yards per catch in his career, a solid number considering the myriad ways the Broncos utilize him. Scott Slant trivia time now, and Boise State could have a record low rushing average this year. Let's hope not, but take a guess on this one. What is Boise State's FBS era rushing record for the most yards per game? It happened in 2004, and let's make this an over-under. How about 200 as your over-under? Think about it. I'll have the answer after the first break, and in the meantime, back to Jay and Will.